Peter Bengtson, the father of Ellen Bengtson. She was killed by a distracted driver on August 2nd, 2020, just outside of Charles City on a Sunday afternoon bike ride. The guy that mowed her down in his pickup truck was trying to buy a boat while reading social media and never saw what he hit, and literally on camera admitted that he was using his phone, had to turn around and found her body in the ditch. So that kind of started our story. And my wife and I have been trying to advocate and improve the law, because the law basically was thrown out when they tried to take the verbal confession of the driver, and because the prosecutor in federal Floyd County didn't prove, even though he admitted he was using his phone, that he wasn't touching his phone, the law in the book said that you can't convict him. And so he walked free for mowing down my daughter. We thought that was an injustice, and we knew that the law had to be changed and improved, and we are so grateful that the governor signed that bill today, that it's an opportunity to make Iowa's roads safer. We have an opportunity to not have other families have to experience what many of us have had to experience.
You've been on a journey of frustration and how it's happened. How frustrating was it to tell this story to legislators who then didn't act?
Well, it was like a kick to the gut the last several years. Coming up on 5 years since she was killed, and it doesn't get any easier. My heart goes out to the people that have been, the other families who've been victims of road rage or distracted driving, whatever you want to call it. People are making bad choices, and it hurt the last few years. This year, when we got confirmation that it had been signed and passed by the House, my wife and I were ecstatic. We were in tears. We were just embraced each other in a good way. The last few years, it was kind of the opposite, right? It's like, oh, so close. Why did somebody have to put a poison pill on this? Why did this have to happen? Why can't they just see this common sense law will save lives in Iowa? And we need this passed. And I think thanks to the governor and her support of it, this coming out early and saying that, it made all the difference. It's a good first step. We need to educate and inform people. This step will give us a better opportunity for the people in blue, law enforcement, to enforce and hold accountability and hopefully change human behavior. We've become so addicted to our phones. It's scary. It's worse than when I was learning to drive drunk driving. There was a lot of information about that. Or don't go smoke, don't smoke, right? And so they educated us in elementary school. And we learned that, if I saw my dad lighting up a cigarette, Dad, don't do that. That's bad for your health. Mom and Dad, don't answer that call on the phone while you're driving. It's dangerous. We need that information out there so that we can have safer roads and see the progress that Minnesota and Illinois made by passing this legislation.
What should we know about your daughter?
How much time do you got? As a father, you do anything to trade places with her on that bike ride that day. She had her whole life in front of her. She was 28 years old. Her high school yearbook identified her as a person who would probably most likely cure cancer. She was admitted and got a chemical engineering degree at Yale. She was an amazing musician. She had just finished her master's degree online in chemical engineering from Columbia University during the epidemic. This is an experience you don't want to have. You don't want to be on the side of the situation where you lose a loved one. And I can't imagine you want to be the person behind the wheel who knew that you made a bad choice and you killed other people or maimed them or caused millions. You heard the statistics from the governor. This is a massive problem. It's only getting worse. There's more crashes caused by distracted driving than drunk driving. I believe now the stats say there are more deaths caused by distracted driving than drunk driving. This is an epidemic beyond compare for public safety.